Alright guys, what's going on everybody? Needs more drums back in our city of Castellon, and today take a good long look at what the city looks like right now, because today we're finally going to kind of get into some of the neglected spots and detail it up a little bit, make the city kind of come alive and add some various well needed little detailing aspects to the city that have been neglected for a long time. So I'm really excited for this episode. Like I said, take a nice long look because hopefully it's going to look a lot better once we're done, since some of these areas are kind of finalized for now, at least for the foreseeable future. But yeah, so this episode I think is actually going to be a time lapse, just because of the nature of detailing. I don't like to spend a ton of time on detail, but it's you know enough time to like to fit it all in one episode and just kind of get a time lapse going. So yeah, just sit back and relax and enjoy the time lapse, and I'll kind of talk through some of the stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, enjoy. Let's get started. All right, so kind of cleaning up from last time. I know I wanted to put in some high density zoning, around this downtown area a little bit more. So to start it off by doing that, kind of getting rid of some of those houses and letting the high density zones take over. So that'll give us some more population, and it actually ends up making our downtown area look pretty nice. So I really like how this turns out. And then this is an area that I've been wanting to fix for a long time. We have this cemetery, and I wanted to turn it into a park. So I think this is a great opportunity to finally do that. Put down some trees, put down some pathways, and get this looking way nicer than before. So again, very happy with how this area turns out. And so while I'm doing this, I wanted to bring up something that is pretty exciting. So I was just checking on Steam earlier today, and it looks like there is an announcement from Cities Skylines that there's some more content coming our way in the next couple of months. So just if you haven't seen it yet, just to give a little background about what they said. So they're advertising this whole thing called the Cities Skylines World Tour, which is interesting. And so it says that they released their schedule for the rest of 2022. So they're going to start with a content creator pack, which will feature a lot of Korean buildings, and that releases this weekend, next week. What day is that? Next Tuesday, the 15th. So that'll be out on Tuesday. It includes 60 assets, including 29 growable low-density residential, 17 growable high-density commercial, and new service buildings and new unique buildings. So if you're looking to build a city set in Korea, then you definitely have some buildings that will look really well in your new city. And then the next one that I'm actually super excited about, which also comes out on next Tuesday, the 15th, is the Skyscrapers Content Creator Pack. So it says that it includes 15 skyscrapers and high residential inspired by iconic buildings from all over the world. So it contains a few buildings from North America, a couple from Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, and South America as well. So we'll get, some different variety in skyscrapers, and I think that'll be really cool to have hopefully some taller buildings to complement our skyline. So very excited about that one. And then there's also a few radio stations. I usually don't use the radio too much because I like to just put on, Spotify or some of my CDs or a record that I got laying around. But if you do like the radio in City Skylines, there are 2 new stations coming in the also on the 15th. K-pop to suit your Korean cities, and then some 80s downtown beats. That one might be kind of cool, so maybe I'll check that one out. But still, I'm really into like kind of that 80s retro vibe, and the sounds. The music from that era is pretty cool. So yeah, I like that. And then the next thing is roads and vehicles, a free update. So that is also coming out with everything on next Tuesday, the 15th. And not too much information on that one on the Steam Workshop page, but always good to see some new roads and vehicles. So I hope I'm I'll be definitely looking forward to that one. And then the big one, or one of the big ones, I guess, is the financial districts. They call it a mini expansion. So, you know, I'm guessing like a DLC, but maybe a little bit cheaper, and, you know, not as much content, but still enough to include its own little pack. So it adds investments, a stock exchange, bank buildings, and the financial district specialization for your office zones. So that'll give us a new way to something new for our downtown area. You know, I know I always try to make sort of a downtown financial district in my cities. I know a lot of other city builders do as well, because that's, you know, pretty much a staple of any downtown, especially any North American or, you know, US downtown. So it'll be nice to have some buildings and you know, some functionality with those districts, rather than just, you know, plopping down a bunch of offices. It seems like you can actually use the investments towards your, and it has effects on some of your, you know, industries. And it says, for example, many sectors await your support, such as death care, healthcare, oil, ore, farming, etc., etc. So it looks like it actually will have some functionality in your city. So that'll be pretty cool. And I'm curious, you know, what it's going to do, because I do like the way that the developers have been with these recent DLCs. They add a lot of sort of new gameplay aspects, you know, like airport DLC. That was something that was severely lacking in the base game, and so it added, you know, not only some new assets, but just, you know, entire specializations, and, you know, just the ability to kind of custom make your airport, I think is really, really cool. And so people can kind of, you know, do what they want with that. And same thing with the new plazas and promenades. That DLC is super cool. And in one of my off-camera cities, I was kind of playing around with it a little bit, and it was super fun. And, you know, there's some really, really cool things that you can do with that, and not to mention the modding, what the modding community can do with something like that, you know, the assets and everything that can be created. So I'm excited. You know, I already have some ideas in this city where I want to make use of the plazas and promenades, and hopefully those episodes are coming sooner rather than later. But yeah, and then another, just keeping going with what's coming up. One more radio station called African Vibes. So that'll be another radio station that'll come out on December 13th with the Financial Districts mini expansion, and we're also getting a new map pack on, and it's from Community Modder, so that's cool. So it's like, I forget which DLC it was with, but they released some maps with made by, you know, somebody who's not part of the development team at Cities Skylines, so it's kind of like a third party. And that was, you know, some of those maps were pretty cool. I think it might have been I don't even want to take a guess at that. But anyway, this seems to be some similar like that, sort of like a creator content pack for maps. And then the last thing is, it is a free-to-play weekend on Steam. So if you don't have Cities Skylines yet, first of all, thanks for watching this video if you don't even have the game. I know some people don't do that. When I was studying abroad in Spain, and I didn't have my, you know, computer with me, my big gaming computer, I'd spent a lot of time just kind of watching Cities Skylines videos, because, you know what, it was like really satisfying to watch people build. And yeah, so I hear you, you know, if you don't have the game, cool. But this would be a great time to try it out, you know, even if it is just vanilla. There's still tons of stuff to do in the game, especially now with all these new packs and everything. I'd almost like to even consider go back and working in, you know, a vanilla city myself, maybe in a future series, who knows. But nonetheless, you can give the game a try this weekend, November 10th through the 14th. It is free to play on Steam. So yeah, a lot of announcements from the Cities Skylines front, and I'm super excited about most of those. So yeah, just keep an eye out, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so now finally going back to the time lapse and what the heck we're actually doing in the city, since we've been, you know, building for almost like 10 minutes here, and I haven't even said a single thing about it. This episode, I wanted to spend some time really detailing up the downtown and the surrounding suburbs. I don't get to all of the city in this, because I realized very quickly that there was just way too much to do, and I figure that you guys don't want to watch me put down trees for like 30 minutes. So instead, I tried to keep, I try to kind of go block by block, and or take it up kind of in sections, and just kind of focus on a few blocks at a time, and put down some trees, and maybe switch up some of the buildings. And a big thing that I was doing too is I wanted to update some of the roads. I know when we were developing the city out early on, a lot of these suburban streets like you see here, I used those a ton, especially when we were using the low density zones, because they look really nice and they have parking, and it's just like a really functional and cheap street for us to put down. But now that some of these areas are building up, I'd like to I always like to kind of make some tree lined roads. I think it adds a little bit more nice detail and appeal to your areas, whether it's in the downtown or in like a sort of a higher density suburb, so to speak. I like to use those a lot, so I put down some of those, and then continue to just kind of add some trees around these areas that really kind of makes it look like a proper suburb, just having some trees. Even the downtown, I think the downtown should never be scarce of trees. I know in Chicago there's tons of the streets are tree lined, even in the downtown, but especially kind of just outside the downtown in some of those more residential neighborhoods. There's tons of tree lined streets there, and it just looks really, really pretty. And even though you're still in a city, sometimes it's a little quiet, and it actually has been proven that tree lined streets make people feel safer, especially if they're walking on the sidewalk. Having that barrier kind of between you and the traffic really can improve someone's feeling of safety. So along this waterfront, you might have noticed me demolish some of the low density commercial buildings, and it was definitely time, since we were building up these residential areas, it was time to build up some of the commercial as well. So I kind of did that along the waterfront and just built up some of those buildings there for now. And quick disclaimer, sorry about, I don't know if you noticed, but my voice is a little whack today. I think, oh cool, our farming area has reached level 4. So in a future episode we'll detail that up. I think I want to do an industry episode coming up soon with, we just level up our ore industry and now our farming industry. So maybe we can spend some time and kind of detail those up. It's just like, so much to do. But anyway, so I think I'm coming down with a little cold. This Midwestern weather sucks. It is now October, which means that, it's October. Geez, it's now November, which means that at any given day it might be 70 degrees and it also might snow. So, who knows what's gonna happen? But I always feel like I get a cold around this time of year, and got one coming on here. So wish me luck. Hopefully I don't get one too bad. But yeah, plus sorry for kind of the videos have been a little sparse lately. I know I mentioned that in kind of one of the descriptions of I think my last one, but basically work has been insane. I'm on a case that's a little more involved than my typical work entails. So I've been putting in quite a bit more hours and haven't really had time to record, let alone edit some of these videos. So just kind of bear with me for the next couple weeks, but I'm still going to try to get a couple videos out a week, definitely at least one, if not two for sure, because gotta keep the people happy, give the people what they want. So and this is fun for me too. It's a nice little break after work to it doesn't take super long to record these. It's the editing that takes quite a bit, but even so, it doesn't take too long. But yeah, so I'm really happy with kind of how the detailing ends up in the city. I think it looks really nice at the end, and just kind of talking about the future of the series and what I want to do in the next couple episodes. Who knows if I'll actually do this, because maybe I'm just talking for no reason. But right now the next things that I want to do is I would like to expand some of my industry, as I mentioned. So the farming and ore industry definitely are due for a little bit more of expansion now that they have leveled up. And with that, I think that I need to finally build a sort of a distribution hub with a, get some rail infrastructure and a cargo station, and maybe, some kind of bigger warehouses for distribution. And I think, and especially with exporting and everything, as our industries are leveling up, having a good distribution network and logistics network can definitely help us make some more money if we can get our goods exported quickly. So that's something that's definitely up next, as well as I would like to focus on maybe building a highway system, kind of upgrading some of those outer roads. I remember early on somebody put a comment that they don't want to see a highway through the middle of the city. And we got the Grand City achievement, awesome. But I don't really want to do that, but I think there's definitely some room for a highway kind of going around the city. So looking at that will be important. And then overall, just rail infrastructure, I think it's time to, maybe consider adding a central station and some other public transport options as well. So like maybe implementing a bus network and really taking a look at our traffic and our roads and see what, if anything needs improving. But for now, this just about concludes our time lapse. I just am getting rid of this industry area here because I have some other plans for it in the future. But for now, let's go ahead and jump back in to a live play. All right, and we're back. Finished with first round of detailing, at least for the parts that I wanted to get it done. And I think that this looks so much better. I mean, just with all the trees and everything. And, that's kind of my definition of detailing, is just kind of going in and fixing up some of these areas. And there's still plenty more to do. I still have to get to this neighborhood over here. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with this area up here, which I have an idea, but it's a little early for that at the moment. And then I also want to go back through once some of these buildings start kind of leveling up and our city gets to be a little bit higher level. A lot of the buildings right now are only levels 1 and 2. Once we start getting some better buildings, I have some great assets from the workshop that I want to kind of make some little apartment complexes, around here. Just kind of delete some of these here and there and then replace them with some different kind of buildings so everything doesn't look the same like it does right now. But that is all to come. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, like and subscribe, please. I really appreciate the support. And if you didn't, tell me why. I would love to know. And, still learning, still trying to get better. But hopefully, I think the city looks a lot more realistic now. And I'm super excited to get some of these in the next couple episodes. I have some exciting things planned. So I just feel like I never have enough time in the day to do it. But before I let you go, fun fact of the day, while I was recording this whole time lapse, I was actually listening to, I'll record the video kind of at once and then put the commentary over it. So while I was recording the video, I was actually listening to the new album by the 1975. I don't know if that's a band that you guys are familiar with, but if not, they kind of have some of their music is a little weird for, popular taste, but nonetheless, they're a very popular band. And, their new album's pretty groovy. So I like it a lot. I was listening to they had a concert, live stream their concert from Madison Square Garden. At the time of this recording, it was tonight. But so I watched it a little while ago, and then I was just kind of listening to their new CD on my stereo. So I was super excited to get my hands on that. It's a pretty good album, pretty groovy, pretty kind of some retro 80s sounds going on, but with a more modern take. So I really enjoy it. I would highly encourage you guys to go check it out. It's super fun. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.